Hello guys, welcome back to the show. This is like the fourth video today. So yeah, I just want to say something real quick, okay? This is how this world's gonna work. Quirks, so Izuku's just gonna pretty much live in our world, where there's no abilities or anything. But he plays a game, pretty much, right? Yeah. And he pretty much when he gets teleported to the world, he does. They're called quirks. Then that's pretty much when he'll meet everyone. Okay. So yeah, that's I wanted to make that clear. So right now Izuku's in our world. So okay. So let's begin. In the beginning, Izuku was working and he got attacked from his friend, right? And where was I? And he went to go talk to his friend. And no, I'm gonna change my profile picture to this, just so you know. But anyways, where was I? Okay, and pretty much he met up and he brought his fiance. His friend brought his fiance. Izuku's just lonely and he's proud for him because he hooked them up with him. And pretty much a man came by to assassinate his friend for some reason. But Izuku got in the way and got stabbed instead. And they were trying to do something, but Izuku said it's very warm. Great Sage active. Immunity to warm and heatness. Now it's cold. Great Sage analyzing cold. Now's new skill. Skill cold resistance. Extra skill. Thermal resistance. Heat and coldness cannot affect you. It's getting harder to breathe. Breathing. Creation. No meaning to breathe. Hold on, give me a second. Okay, I'm back. And now he said it stings. Great Sage active. Findings damage immune. Damage regeneration. Right? And no, not yet. And I'm trying to think what else he said pretty much. I'm pretty sure he just said something like stings body into very something, or I don't know what it was. And I think and then Izuku told his friend, "It was nice knowing you. Have a good life with her," and dies. And Izuku goes through is alive in a way, but he sees through different things. He sees like two worlds, his and another one. So yeah. And Izuku had closed his eyes, and when he opened them again, he was in somewhere dark, and he said it looked like a cave. And then he noticed that he doesn't feel his arms or legs. He feels kind of slimy. And Izuku noticed that he's very close to the ground. And he's confused. And then Great Sage pretty much said, no. Then Great Sage appeared. And he said, "Hello? Who are you?" He says, and the system says, "Hello. I am Great Sage. I will help you during your journeys and stuff, whatever," right? And Izuku's confused. He doesn't know what's going on, but he says, okay. Where am I? And Great Sage, answer. In a cave of strong beast. Okay. What am I? Answer. You are a slime, and you are an intelligent one because you could kind of speak. Well, not intelligent, in a way, I guess, right? And yeah, Izuku starts trying to move, and then it feels weird because he has no legs, and he says, and then but he didn't notice that the flowers under him are just evaporating, and he said, "Great sage, yes. What's happening to the flowers?" Oh, great sage, answer. What's happening is that you are dissolving them, and I am she said, answer. This is your great sage skill called predator. And he says, okay. And pretty much he says, can we analyze these? And she says, yes, analyze. More, and it's pretty much if keep with these flowers all give really good healing potions. So Izuku's like, oh, I see. And Izuku pretty much gathers up all the flowers in the area, and then there is none. Izuku pretty much accepted his life. And then Izuku started just moving around, and hold on. Sorry. Anyways, where was I? Oh yeah. And Izuku saw this crystal, and he said, absorb. And he just absorbed it, and it just pretty much dissolved. He said, analyze. And she said, analyzing. You need a special quirk to smith it, right? And he says, quirk? What are quirks? Great sage, answer. Quirks are magical abilities that are special to different people. Yours is predator. Very strong. And Izuku's like, I see. Right? And let's say that when he was walking, he saw a boy with very long hair. And the boy was severely hurt. Got it. I'll be right back. Sorry. But I gotta go real quick. Sorry, I was eating chili, and it took me like 30 minutes, so, yeah. And where I last left off is a guy hurt very badly. So, yeah. And Izuku was trying to speak to him, but he couldn't. And the man said, hello, slime. And Izuku thought of something. Since he could make potions instantly inside of him, Izuku started to make his body go around the man. And the man was confused. He's like, wait, what are you doing? Right? And when Izuku got onto him, he started healing. And when Izuku pretty much spat him out, because right now he's just a slime. This is what it looks like. Hold up, where is it? I passed it, didn't I? He's literally just a slime. So yeah. And Izuku can't really see the man. And Izuku, the man notices this, and he says, oh, you can't see. Here, let me show you something. And it's called, in the anime, it's called Magic Sense. But in this, it's called Quirk Sense, I guess. Right? Yeah. But we're just going to call it Senses. Right? And Izuku pretty much had his sense, or like now he could see a lot better and everything. And he sees the man, and the man looks like this. Give me a second, I'll show you. Never mind, I could not find him. Anyways, let's get back to it. And Izuku was starting to gain friendship with him. And the man said, it's hard to, live when you're hurt, right? And he says, and Izuku can't talk yet, and he pretty much marked something in the ground, said, yeah. And the man said, wait, you could understand me? And Midoriya pretty much jumped up and down to say yes. And the man was happy. He's like, it's good. So, how did you do that? And then Midoriya saw a flower, right? And he pretty much kind of pointed in a way. And he went, and he started moving, and the man said, wait, are you leaving me? And then he showed, he pretty much jumped to show him, say, look. And the man kind of understood. And pretty much he saw the flowers kind of disintegrate. And he's like, oh. And then he says, and then Great Sage analyze, right? He says, huh. And he says, do you have a name? And Izuku went side to side. And the man said, I guess that's true with monsters, right? And he says, and Izuku in his head said, I guess monsters don't have names unless they get names. And Izuku, let's say, saw, let's say a bat he saw stuck in a web, and it was a big bat, right? And the man pointed at that and said, that's the thing that hurt me so bad. I got stuck, it looks like. Stupid thing. It looked like it was coming to finish me off. And Izuku jumped on the webs, and the man said, wait, hey, be careful with that. Things dangerous. And Izuku used his predator, and he absorbed him and jumped down. Now, Izuku could fly, but he doesn't have a good body to do that with. And also, he could speak now. And Izuku says in a kind voice, hello, can you hear me now? And the man was in shock. Wait, what was that? And he said, wait, was that you? And Izuku said, oh, you can hear me. That's amazing. Hi. Hi. And he says, hello. I was questioning. And and Izuku said, yeah? Your aura kind of upgrade. Your aura changed a little bit, and Izuku knows what aura is pretty much. And he says, oh, is that so? Sorry. It's like, and Izuku pretty much sealed it up. Right. And Izuku asked, so why are you in here? And he said, well, I was looking for a dragon. And Izuku said, oh, I see. I think I know where he might be. I have a really strong feeling. And he says, oh, really? And he says, yeah. And then the man says, well, the thing is, I heard that this dragon could grant wishes. And I'm very sick. And he starts coughing up blood. He says, I won't really live for that long. And Izuku's like, oh, do you think any more of my potions could help me? He says, no, I'm sorry. But since your predator ability could absorb people, absorb me, please. And he says, wait, but that means Izuku, and he says, if we die here, we pretty much just die. I've seen too many people die. And Izuku's like, if you want to. But then he said, wait, we should you should tell me your name. We should make it like a little pack, I guess. And the man said, yeah, that would be nice. Here. And Izuku said, here, you give me my name first, and I'll give you your name. Okay? And he said, yeah. And he said, your name will be Rimyu Tempest. Right. He says, yours will be Hydro. And Izuku's skills changed. Great Sage, what happened? Since you got a name, you have more powers, abilities, and you are more intelligent now. And the man started glowing. He's like, I feel a little better, but Just ignore me now, okay? And Izuku said, are you sure? He said, yes. Just do it already, okay? And he says, okay. And Izuku used Predator, right? And Predator just absorbed him. And Izuku could take a human form now. And let's say that man had a form where he could he could heal real fast. Okay? Or could just heal. So yeah. And Izuku kept walking trapped him, or to the strong feeling he had. And on his way, when he walked into water, he started sinking. And Izuku thought, maybe if I use wind pressure or something. And Izuku gave in big air and blew it out. And Izuku got a new ability, Water Pursue. Great Sage, new skill. Water Pursued. I don't know what it's called. Something like Water Pursues or something shit like that. But he can move into water now. With ease, pretty much. Right, and then Izuku Izuku had a thing called Water Blade, and he saw a snake, and he used a Water Blade. He said, Water Blade, right? And this Water Blade pretty much just let him cut anything with water. Pretty much intense, right? And it cut this snake's head off. And Izuku said, maybe if I use my predator skill, what would happen? And she said, oh, this is a poisonous snake. You would get its gas and everything, right? Pretty much you'd get its skill, and then you could change into it. And he says, And he looks at the head. He says, no, I'm not transforming into that. But then he gets it. But he predators the rest of the body and keeps going to the aura. And then he saw this lizard type thing. And he pretty much used the serpent to kill it with its gas, with its poisonous breath, pretty much. And when Izuku absorbed it, he got an armament skill. Right? And in this world, pretty much, Izuku forgot that these skills are called quirks, and its great sage just called it skills. So yeah. And give me a sec. Okay, sorry. I zoned out for a second. Where was I? Oh yeah. And he finally got to this aura, and he sees this humongous dragon. And he says, hello, right? And the dragon says, hello, human. Or he says, a slime? Huh. And Izuku says, yeah. Surprising, huh? And he says, yeah. And he says, so, why are you here, you slime? And he says, well, somebody told me that you could grant people wishes. And he says, I used to be able to. But a hero sealed me into this imprisonment. And Izuku says, oh, can you get out though? And he says, no, I cannot. And he says, what, how? Why not? Right? And he says, this dragon says, well, I can't because called imprisonment seal, and this quirk, but for some reason you call them skills. I guess it's easier to call them skills, but we just call them quirks in our world. Her quirk just sealed me. That's one of her quirks. And a lot of people have multiple quirks, but there's pretty much a limit, except for Izuku. Right? And Izuku's like, oh, I see. And you could tell how strong people are. And the dragon could sense that Izuku is very strong. And let's say that he says, so you can't get out, huh? He says, well, how can you get out if I could try to help you? He says, for a slime, you are strong. I could sense that, but you cannot break me out. It takes more than 30 days and 30 sages to break this. It's pretty much impossible to get me out here. And Izuku's saddened by this. He says, well, I have a skill called Predator, and I could help you, but it will absorb you and pretty much kind of kill you in a way. But it will let you out of here. And he says, is that so? And he says, yeah. I have an unlimited stomach, so maybe you might see my friend in there, because I also I used my Predator on him. And he says, huh, is that your quirk name? And he says, yeah, it's called Predator, right? And the dragon says, yes, but first give me a name, because I could tell that you have a name. He says, yes, I'm so sorry. My friend gave me Rimuru Tempest, and I gave him something. I forgot it already. He says, here, I'll give you a name for you could be also part of it, because you're a good friend already. Because he's been there for about 3 days, let's say, and they're really good friends by just talking. And Izuku says, well, your name could be, he thinks of Tempest. He says, your name will be Hurricane Strong. No, he calls him Hurricane Tempest. Storm Tempest. No, Tempest. Storm Tempest, yeah. I don't remember what he calls him, but we're going to call him Storm Tempest. Okay? And yeah. That's his name. And the dragon agrees with it, and then Izuku absorbs him. And Izuku's aura is a lot stronger now. And Izuku pretty much started walking out. He killed every monster that was in there. Well, that's what he thought. And he took a lot of their skills, and Izuku had a great aura. And it's pretty much like a zipper's undo. That's how you could feel, or pretty much sense it. Right, and yeah. Hold up, sorry, I'm moving along. And and when he got out, he saw the door, and he was about to push it open, but then people came in, and Izuku was in his human form, right? And these people have weapons. So Izuku hid for a little bit, but one of them sensed him and said, "Who's there?" And let's say Izuku came out, and it didn't look like he was hurt. And they said, "What are you doing?" He says, "Oh, I'm just leaving." And they said, "Wait, how are you not hurt?" Right? And he's just said, well, I killed them. Killed anything that got in my way." Right? And then he asked, "So why are you guys here?" And they're like, "Oh, we came here to see a dragon." I guess, right? And he says, "Oh, well, the thing is, I kind of absorbed him, right?" And they were in shock that this person absorbed a dragon. And they're like, and then one asked, "Wait, how did you absorb him?" Then Izuku showed them what his real form was. And he showed them that he was a slime. And then he said, "Well, I also absorbed a human, but he told me to, so... And then Izuku kind of cries a little bit above it. Right? And they're like, oh, well, you should come back to our town. And Izuku's like, nah, I'm good. I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna just explore, really. And they're like, well, but you might need a weapon and everything. And Izuku's like, well, I could do this. And he shows him water blade and armament and then poison breath, pretty much. And pretty much Izuku got past because they were arguing that they should capture him because he's a slime and a monster and everything, right? And Izuku got out. So yeah. And hold on, give me a sec. Okay. Anyways, hold up. I need to change my song. Okay. Anyways, here we go. Izuku ran off, and he still has his aura out, and the people didn't really pay attention to that. And let's say that Izuku saw these goblins, right? And Izuku said, hello. And they said, oh, hello, sir. You're very strong, I see. And Izuku says, oh, really? And he's like, yeah, we could feel your aura. And Izuku's like, oh, sorry. And Izuku's like, God, no. In his head. And he has, so what are these, Great Sage? And she says, these, answer, goblin. These are goblins. And he's like, oh, okay, thank you. She says, and then Great Sage says, you're welcome. And they say, and one of them say, can you come with us, please? And Izuku said, sure. And goes with them. And he sees that they're a little village, right? And on the way, let's say that when they're about to arrive, Deku sees this village. And one of the goblins say, oh, I'm glad, if you could, would you like to speak to my father, the elder here? And he says, yeah. He says, sure. And they put him on what he's standing on right now, but he's in a human form, and they ask him, so can you protect us? And Izuku's like, wait, what? And he says, can you protect us? And Izuku says, from what? And then they say, dire wolves. They've been terrorizing, and they've killed some of us. Some of my people, you see. And he's like, oh, okay. And he says, yeah. Right. And he says, sure. Right. And they said, they say, wait, do you want anything back from it? And Izuku turns into a slime. And he says, no, not really. I don't have anything in mind. They say, here, let us praise you as please be our Lord. Right. Or please be in charge of us. I'll be in second command or whatever. And Izuku says, if you want me to, fine. Right? And they say, thank you. Thank you. You're our savior. Right? And Deku says, so are there any wounded? And he says, yes, there is. Please follow me. He says, good. And he says, okay. And Izuku's in a slime form now. And he sees them. And Izuku thought, And then he put a goblin, pretty much, he kind of used predator. He pretty much absorbed the goblins. And the man said, wait, what are you doing? And then he spat them out. And he was healed. And then he went to the next, all the injured ones. And the last one he just spat out. Right? And the chief said, thank you. And he says, yeah. Oh, can I ask what your name is? And he says, well, us monsters don't have names unless we're named. He says, oh, I see. And I heard that if you name someone, they get stronger. And he says, yes, we do. He says, okay. How much? And then they all hear howls from the dire wolves. And Izuku's like, I see. Okay. And Izuku says, everyone here, I'm here to help you, and we shall protect you. And I shall protect you. Right? And everyone's all happy about it. And let's say that there is a smith there, right? He was a skilled smith, a goblin smither, right? Or yeah, I think that's what you call it, or blacksmith. Yeah, goblin blacksmith. Sorry. Sorry about that. Anyways, thank you. Sorry. Where was I? Oh yeah, and pretty much they keep going, and they just keep walking, right? And sorry. Hold up. Let me put my controller down so I don't drop it. Anyways, let's get back. Okay, and they set up walls and spike traps, wooden spike traps, and Izuku came up with string to stop them, and if they run through it, they'll get killed and sliced, right? And they also made arrows, and he went to the blacksmith, and he is a very skilled and known one, let's say. And he says, yes. Do you need something, Lord? And he says, just call me Rumio. He just says, call me Rumio, right? Hold on. No, I'm going to change his name. His name's just going to be Temp. He says, call me, hold on, let me think. He says, call me Yodo, okay? And he says, okay. Yes, Master Yodo. Yeah, Master Yodo. But in reality, he likes being called, so he really likes being called Tempest or Rumio, really. He doesn't care about Rumio. But he likes being called Tempest or Midoriya. He says, here, just call me Midoriya, okay? And pretty much inside, the dragon and whatever it's called, the human met, and their names changed to Midoriya, right? And he just says, just call me Deku, okay? Because that's a nickname that he had, okay? So yeah. Hold up. Okay, there we go. Anyways, here we go. And pretty much they had Izuku dropped out the ore that he consumed in the caves. And this was magic ore that was very strong and has like properties to it. Right? And let's say that he says, can you make a weapon quickly? And I think I could copy it. And he says, sure. Right? He says, sure. Right? And that he makes one quickly, and Zuko pretty much absorbs it again, and he says, copy. And Great Sage, new skill, copy. 30 long swords. And then he said, can you make an arrows too? Right? Copied 100 arrows. Right? So yeah. And pretty much they were ready to go. And Izuku still had strings, and he didn't, and he asked for if he could make a katana. And Izuku transformed into his human form in front of people, right? And everyone did, right? And so yeah. And pretty much hold up. Give me a second. I gotta look at something. Oh, no, never mind. Um okay. Um and the night came, and the wolves, the leader of dire wolves, started coming, right? And pretty much after that, they started charging in, and when some got through, some got killed instantly by arrows. And let's say one got through and they killed it with their sword quickly. And Izuku, for some, when he absorbed, what is it? The human, he got his sword skills, and he was a good sword fighter, right? So yeah, and pretty much the next, not the next day, he kept going, and the leader said that's enough and started charging. He ripped through this threads and everything, right? And the next time, and he got stuck. Izuku had string, and the string came from a spider that he killed, the one that caught the bat. And he said, "Give up now, or give up now, and I'll let you have your life, or else I'll kill you here now." Right? And he says, the leader says, "No, never." Okay? Right. And pretty much the next time, no, not the next time, where was I? Where was I? Give me a second. Hold up, give me a second. I need to have a mind refreshment. And the wolf said never, and tried to get closer to him. And Izuku said water blade, and his head got chopped off. And Izuku absorbed him quickly. Right? And pretty much the other wolves started attacking. And he destroyed the string already, so he could attack already. But, what was it? But Izuku transformed into the wolf and started their leader, and he was bigger, but it started roaring, and it shook everyone. It shook the trees a little, and the wolves are having a hard time to get through. They keep charging, but it's hard for them to keep going. And when Izuku says, "Just stop, I don't want to kill anyone else," but he said that in his head, and then the wolves bowed and said, "We give up. You're our new leader." Right? And the sun was there. And the sun is the wolf that I showed you here. So yeah. What is this guy? And this is what he looked like when he evolved. Well, this is what he looked at like first. Okay? And Izuku said pretty much Izuku gathered everyone, and the wolves and goblins were standing by each other for the next day. And Izuku said, "I will name all of you. You all deserve names, right?" and he starts naming everyone. He names the old man, let's call him Rubtuff. Yeah, Rubtuff. And his son, Gubtuff. And let's say some random goblin he called Gobta. And the wolf that you see on the screen right now, Izuku named him Tempest, right? And when he said Tempest, Izuku passed out, and everyone was worried because he just named a lot of goblins and just named a wolf, right? And Izuku went into a sleep mode for 3 days. And that's where I'm going to end it, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please leave. I'm kidding. Do whatever you want, really. Hope you guys enjoyed, and have a good rest of your day.